Hello, my name is Brenda. My channel is Handwork Maniac. Today is September 4th, 2023, and I have got to get a video made. So I'm just gonna jump in here and do it. It's been since the end of August was the last one, and I just have so many things to show. I will be showing all of my cross stitch finishes. I don't think I have any cross stitch new starts, but I do have some plans. And then all of the pieces, cross stitch projects that I've worked on since the last time that I did a video, which have been a lot. Okay, let's start with finishes. I finished Seaworthy Sampler by Teresa Kogut. This was the retreat piece from StitchWest in 2022 in Salt Lake City. And I believe that she has just released this to the public now. It was a set of 3. This is one of them. This was the mermaid above the ocean. There's another piece that's the mermaid, her sister, who's kind of in charge of everything underneath the water. And then her youngest sister, Ariel, that's in a piece all by herself. I used the called for threads. The fabric is 46 count Lunar by Stitch Me. That one was so fun. I loved that one. Oh, 1 strand of floss over 2 fabric threads. And this one was finished last time, but I forgot to show it to you last time. It is by Bright Needle, and it's called Relax. It's a tiny little pillow, and it's a picture of a little comfy chair with a pillow on it, and a lamp, and the little bag of knitting beside it, and a cat. I am going to make it into a little pillow as well. I just thought it was so cute. It's on the called for 32 count antique white linen, 1 strand of floss over 1 fabric thread. So it is 1 over 1 on 32 count, which makes it such a tiny little pillow. This was a StitchCon pattern you could buy this year, StitchCon 2023 by Sue Hillis. She designed it for this StitchCon this year. It is on 32 count linen, called Weathered Stone by Atomic Ranch. I used the called for DMC, 2 strands of floss over 2 fabric threads. I did not do all of the back stitching that she had on there. I just did a little bit of back stitching that I thought was really necessary. And then down here, it's had words that said Adventure Awaits, because it's part of her Adventure Awaits series. She has several in that series that are beautiful. But I chose just to do this part. And I'm going to, well, the plan is to put it on the front of a project bag. And then I participated in the Pixie Lane. This is a new start since the last video, and a finish, a SAF, start and finish, called Pixie Lane by Pine Mountain Designs. It is such a gray, rainy day today. Don't have very much light coming in the window. Oh, I just did a video of the tour of my craft room. That will be the video right before this if you're interested in how I organize all my floss and threads and projects and all of that. This is by Pine Mountain Designs. She is the designer that owns the shop Pine Needles in Gardner Village in Salt Lake City. And she did this free stitch along the last part of July and the first part of August. She released 1 house per week. It was so fun. This is 40 count red thicket even weave called As You Wish. And I did use the called for colors, but I got my browns backwards. So I have light brown where it's supposed to be dark brown and dark brown where it's supposed to be light brown. But that one was so fun. I really enjoyed it. It looks just like my wee village. I had to stitch it, and a local designer. Did I tell you what the count was? It's 40 count, even weave. 1 strand of floss over 2 fabric threads. I finished Bertie, which is by Satsuma Street. She has a 3 round pieces about this size. Each one has a different animal. I chose to do this bird one. And I really wanted to do this one because it called for Cosmo threads, and I wanted to try Cosmo threads. So I used the called for Cosmo threads. Love them. To me, it seems like they are a brighter color range than DMC. I love they're not all bright, but in general, they have some shades that are a little brighter than DMC in some colors. And they also have a beautiful turquoise range. And they are beautiful to work with. I believe it's Egyptian cotton. I'm trying to remember. But they are just lovely to work with. And I finished the Sewing Room Stitch Along by Little Dove Designs. It's been going on since, February, March? I can't remember. You can now purchase the whole pattern from her, Little Dove Designs. I used the called for DMC on 46 count Frost by Be Stitch Me, 1 strand of thread, 1 strand of floss over 2 fabric threads. Oh, and this brown on these drawers was supposed to be the dark yellow color, but I made a mistake and used the brown color instead. In case you're wondering why my drawers are brown and everyone else's are a dark yellow color. Okay, I think that's all the finishes. So let's move on to projects I have worked on since the last time I did a video. Oh, no, I have one more finish, sorry. I finished the Summer Schoolhouse series. It's a set of 4 patterns by Brenda Gervais, and had them finished by Jan Calvert in Cincinnati. I will put her contact information in the description box below. She does fabulous finishing. She even sent me this beautiful card back with it to me. And here they are all finished. When you buy all 4 charts, then you get all of the pillows plus this strawberry pattern. And there's also a hornbook pattern, but I chose not to do the hornbook. And they're all finished with this beautiful blue chenille that matches, and they all have this fabric on the back. They are just gorgeous, Jan, just gorgeous. I am so happy that I had you finish them for me. I saw this frame is this, oh, what do you call this? Metal basket is from Hobby Lobby. I saw it at the Crazy Women's Stitching Retreat last fall, a year ago. Someone had this project in this basket on the brag table. And we immediately found her and said, where did you get this basket? Because I'm in the process of stitching this, and I want to put it in a basket just like that. So she told us that she had purchased it at Hobby Lobby. I don't know if they still have it. This was a year ago, but that's where the metal basket came from. But I just love them. They are so gorgeous. I did this on the called for 28 count mushroom Lugana even weave, and it's called for to do that one strand of floss over one fabric thread. So it is tiny little stitches. And I did use all the called for colors, except for there is a dark red and a lighter red used in all of the pillows. I did use the darker red, what was called for, but the lighter red was supposed to be used brick, and my used brick was very orange, browny orange, so I changed my lighter red to Scarlet Slipper. I can't remember if that's Gentle Arts or Classic Colorworks. One of those two. But that was the only change that I made in the floss colors. Okay, I think that is all of the finishes. Works in progress. This is The New Normal by Long Dog Samplers. I did work on this for a little bit. I'm doing mine on 40 count antique white linen, and I'm using my own choice of colors, and it's Sulky 12 weight, S-U-L-K-Y 12 weight cotton that I'm using, one strand. There's a list of the colors that I'm using in the description box below, but this is what I have so far. I've made it to the bottom down there. That's the bottom corner. This is just so fun to work on. Really hoping for a finish this year on that one. This one is Autumn Cat. Oh, it's just called Autumn, but I call it Autumn Cat by Heaven and Earth Designs. The artwork is originally by Miria Petite. Miria? I am stitching it on 25 count even weave in the color Moss, I think. I started in the middle of his back right here and moving towards his tail. But I was able to get this, finish this section down here and do another section up here. These are parking bobbins that my daughter-in-law sells on Etsy. Her store is SunshineMamasDesigns. If you just do a search for parking bobbin, it will probably come up. But they're bob ease spools with a magnet glued to the back and a button to the front, but it pops open and you can wind the thread in there and then pop it shut. It just keeps all of my parked threads organized. And it's one strand of floss over one fabric thread, full cross. Oh, this is Lost No More. I usually work on this every Sunday. And it is so close to a finish. I think a couple of more Sundays and I will have it finished. Let's see if we can straighten it out a little. But it is just, oh, it's just gorgeous. I am down here in this bottom corner, just finishing up the ground down there under the sheep. Such a beautiful piece. It's a Dimensions kit, and the artwork is by Greg Olson, and it's called Lost No More. I'm using the kit fabric and the kit floss. I sewed this extra piece of fabric to the side of it just so it was easier to fit in my Q-snaps, because Dimensions kits don't have quite enough It's plenty of room to frame it, but it's not quite enough room to fit nicely on my Q-snap easily, to stitch easily on my Q-snap. So I think a couple more Sundays and that one will be finished. So exciting. Let's see when I started that. February of 2020. This is Black Vintage Sampler by Al Forrest Embroidery. Mine is on what is mine on? Oh, and there's not a card. It's either 20 count Aida or 18 count Aida, and it's sparkly white Aida, and I'm using sulky 12 weight black thread. I bought a cone of it. I will not need the whole cone, but I figured I could always use it on other projects as well. That's what I have so far. One strand of the sulky 12 weight cotton over one Aida square. Okay, for sampler, for September, many stitchers like to do samplers in September. Kind of call it Sampler September. Work on their samplers. And I have this beautiful sampler called Band of Roses 1845 by Cross Stitch Antiques. I'm stitching mine on 40 count Maritime White by Lakeside Linens with the called for DMC, one strand of floss over 2 fabric threads. I did use a dark blue silk, a Veriswa silk up here for the letters because I wanted really good coverage, and I used a Dinky Dyes Pacific Ocean for these lighter blue letters just to have a really good coverage. But the rest of it is the called for DMC. And I'm participating in AB Singo with the Magazine Monthly Challenge Facebook group. So I'll be working on a different project every day for that for the first 25 days, but I'm also every day going to try and work on this sampler during September and get some progress on it. It is beautiful. Like a year and a half ago, I started this button and beads kit called Mouse House, Mill Hill Buttons and Beads, thinking that I would have it finished by fall. I probably started it a year ago last summer. I did not have it done by fall. So then I think in January I put it away. Or maybe more like October, November I put it away. But I have been working on it. What do I have I could put behind it? Guess it will have to be this. Oh, maybe this. I was watching, that's backwards, Calico Whimsy showed how she hand sewed some fabric to the sides of her perforated paper on a buttons and beads kit so that she could fit it into a hoop, and then it was easier to stitch on. I thought that was a brilliant idea, so I did the same thing. This is what I have so far. Hoping to finish this in the next few weeks so I can put it out on my little credenza that I have in my office at work. I did not work on that one. Or that one. Oh, this one. is a Riolas kit called Scottish Door. I'm using the kit of floss, which is an acrylic wool blend. It's a little fuzzy. You just use one strand of it. I love it. I love the coverage. I love that you're just working with one strand. Oh no, actually I'm using two strands of it. That's why the coverage is so fabulous, which is what the kit calls for. But it is lovely to work with. And this is what I have so far. Enjoying that a lot. I don't know if I've done anything else on Sunnyside Sampler since the last time I showed it to you. Probably not. I have 2 buildings left to finish by mid-October when we go to StitchWest. That was our goal, to have it done before the next StitchWest. It's by Drawn Thread. I'm using the called for 32 count natural linen, and I'm using the called for silks. I think they're dinky dyes. But instead of, the kit calls for 1 strand of floss, and I'm using 2 strands because I just liked the coverage better. And then we're hoping to have it finished by October. So I just need to pull it out and finish those last 2. It has been so fun to work on. A group of us at StitchWest, and many of you I know started it last year at StitchWest time. Some of you were there, some of you weren't, but we started about that time in October. 2 strands of floss over 2 fabric threads. And then when we finish this one in October, we have already decided what our next one is going to be. Just in case you're interested. All right, what did I do with the pattern? Oh my gosh, it's upstairs. I will put it in the description box below. It's by Jardin Prive. It's got 12 birdhouses in a row on a fence, and each birdhouse is decorated for 1 month of the year. I know it has Nichoirs in the title. It's French, Nichoirs, but I'll put it in the description box below. And my plan, which I got from my friend Shauna, which I thought was a fabulous idea, because I want to stitch each birdhouse in the month that we're in, but we're starting it in October, so that's like 2/3 of the way across. So you can't really start in the middle, and you can't really start at the corner. But her idea was to stitch, it's got a tiny little border across the top that has some little baubles hanging down from it. She said she was going to stitch that top border first. And then you can kind of move down to whichever birdhouse you want to stitch on and do that section of the fence below that birdhouse that month as well. So that's what I'm going to do, because I think that's a brilliant idea. But I will put the name of it in the description box below. It calls for mocha, 32 count mocha, but I think that was a misprint because it's really light mocha linen. Any kind of a tannish fabric would do. I think vintage country mocha would be gorgeous. Linen, even weave, Ada, it would all be beautiful. Do it on what, if you want to do it, if you want to join us, do it on whatever fabric you would enjoy. 1, 2, 3 Stitch gets it in stock, and then it goes out of stock, and then they get some more, so keep watch there. My local needlework store, the Craft Center of Fine Stitchery in Salt Lake City, Jamie, I've talked to Jamie, and she'd be happy to, if she has run out, she will order more. She's happy to, you can get it from her. And if you let her know what fabric and what and that you'd like the floss with it. It just calls for DMC. She would be happy to kit it up for you and mail it to you. You can just, if you look them up on the internet, the Craft Center of Fine Stitchery. I will also put a link in the description box below. You can just call them. They don't have an online store. They do have a website where you can see a few pictures of the store and some information, their phone number and their address. But you would just need to call her and tell her, and then she could mail it to you. And Colette, the Highway Stitcher, her YouTube channel is The Highway Stitcher. She is in charge. She has the hashtags for it and more information about it. If you would like more information, go check out her YouTube, The Highway Stitcher. I worked on Serenity Harbor by the Bay Needle Arts. Mine is on 40 count Lakeside linen in vintage lentil. It calls for DMC, which I am using for most of it. But anywhere that there were large blocks of one color, I chose an overdyed cotton or an overdyed silk that was a similar color, because I like the look of the overdyed. This is what I have so far. That water was all done with one color of Dinky dyes. I just did it in little puddly shapes, so it kind of looks like water, but it is all one color. And then there's some darker blue right up against the shore. That is a different color of Dinky dyes. But I was able to finish this section and work on this part down here. Love that one. Always enjoy working on it. My daughter, Catherine, some of you know that she takes a project home with her every year for Mother's Day and my birthday. Usually one that has something on it that I'm not excited to stitch. And she stitches it for me as a gift. So this year she took home Primavera Incita by Corachete Agogo, Spring in the City. And she just came out with Halloween in the City, I think it's called. Little bunnies decorating for Halloween is the cutest thing ever. These same little bunnies in the same little city decorating for Halloween. It's darling. But this one is Spring in the City. And Catherine took it home and finished all of the borders for me, because she knows that that's my least favorite part. Look at that. So now all I have to do is come back and fill in all the cute little houses and bunnies. Mine is on 46 count raw linen. And I'm using the called for DMC, 1 strand of floss over 2 fabric threads. This is a pattern by Vivian Powers, called Rainbow Color Blocks, that I started in the summer. I know this says Rainbow Color Clocks, but I think that's a typo. It's Rainbow Color Blocks by Vivsters. I'm using the called for DMC on 46 count antique white linen, 1 strand of floss over 2 fabric threads. And that's what I have so far. This is a color wheel needleminder that I bought at StitchCon by Accoutrement Designs. There's some of the blocks are one solid color, but most of them have two different colors in them. So pretty. And I worked on the Haberdashery Shop, sometimes called Stitching Heaven, by Doreen Jones. It was in the Cross Stitcher magazine, but you can also buy it as a separate PDF. Oh, I didn't write it on there. I'm doing it on pre-gridded 25 count even weave with the called for DMC, 1 strand of floss over 1 fabric thread full cross. And I got quite a bit more done on it. I haven't done any of the back stitching yet, so it's looking a little blurry right now. As soon as I put the back stitch in, it will look less blurry. But the girl's head is like right here. I'm excited to get to that part. That one was way fun to work on. And I did quite a bit of work on Sleeping Princess by Mirabilia. Mine is on 32 count water lily linen with the called for DMC, 2 strands of floss over 2 fabric threads. And this is what I have. I came down and did all of these mattresses down here. She is looking so good. I just love all those bright colors. I think there's about this much more of mattresses and then we're down to the floor. Such a beautiful piece. And I haven't done any of the beading yet. And I think this is the last one. Sweet Like Chocolate by Emma Congdon. This one was in the World of Cross Stitch magazine in 2019. I believe it's the May issue. But I will put it in the description box below to make sure I get the right one. And here is my progress. I finished this over here and started on this middle section. This is 32 count even weave in the color Petals, I believe. It's got a really light, what do I want to say? Modeling on it of a light green and a light pink, but it's barely noticeable. Two strands of floss over 2 fabric threads on 32 count. All right, and I just have a little bit of haul to show you. This was a gift from my friend Emily. I can't believe she made this for me. She gave this to me in the summer for my birthday. Here's the inside. There's a zipper pocket on this side and a thread bed on this side with sections behind. I have gnomes in here. Which probably, I think, looks the same as the last time you saw it. But this Nerge hoop, which is a number 4, I think. No, number 3. A number 3 nerd hoop. Fits in there. I love it. Thank you. So beautiful. This was a project bag that I ordered months ago that came in right after I filmed my last video. It is a beautiful bag. I bought it on Etsy from Sherry So Sweet. Here is the back. Here is the front. The front is quilted and pieced. These squares are pieced. And I bought the bundle that came with this little thread bed thing, accessory that comes with it. And it came with matching floss tags that are laminated. And she even sent labels, so you could put a label on the floss tag. Beautiful scissor fob, or I mean, zipper. Decoration on the zipper. She makes beautiful bags. My friend Laura, her Flosstube channel is I Stitch Birds ? So it's just all one word, I Stitch Birds ? She keeps sending me photos of patterns she thinks that I should buy, and of course I do. This one looks just like Bear Lake to me, so I had to have this one. It is called Coast Seagulls, and it's by Anna Petunova. Oh, this one is on my Bobbin.com, I believe. I don't remember the name of it, but it also looks just like Bear Lake to me. So I had to have this one. I'll put the names of these in the description box below and where they came from. And then this one too, I think also came from my Bobbin. It's been a while since I purchased them. This looks just like my parents' property at Strawberry River before the huge forest fire that we had a few years ago. I mean, that could be a photograph taken there. So I had to buy this one. Just gorgeous. A New Creation Studio came out with her fall autumn band sampler. She has spring and summer already, and maybe winter. Now I can't remember. But she sent me this pattern because that was so sweet of her. I told her I was excited for fall, so she sent me this one. I would love to start it right away. I'm trying not to start all the things, but oh, I am so ready for fall. A New Creation Studio on Etsy. I also bought this Letty Stitch kit from 123 Stitch called To the Harbor, because it's just so cute. Comes with anchor floss. I bought this Jill Gordon book on eBay because I just thought that pattern on the front was beautiful. It also has several other patterns inside. It's a hardcover book. I'm going to be starting this piece today on 46 count Dark Mountain, which I think is XJU Designs fabric. I bought it at Keepsakes last summer. I'm trying to remember. I'll be using the called for floss, but that will be a fun start. It's in a book by Teresa Kogut, or if you are one of her Patreon members, you can also purchase just this pattern from her Patreon website. And then I keep seeing pictures of this dollhouse on the internet. And it took me a while to figure out, like on eBay and stuff, it took me a while to figure out where the original source of the pattern was, because I think there's lots of knockoff copies of it. But this magazine was listed on eBay. It is from Spain. Cute magazine. Lots of beautiful patterns in it. And I don't know, I can't find anywhere on here where I can tell what year this magazine is from. But it has this really cute dollhouse pattern in it that I want to stitch. It has lots of other, gosh, it's probably got 25 other patterns in it. But it also has 2 others that I thought were darling. This one and this one. But this is the name on the front of it. And that's all I know about it. Okay. I think that's everything. I hope. I will see you again in a few weeks. Let's just put that out there. I'm going to be back in a few weeks. That is my goal. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.